Well, we got a big one
Brian
coming
on.
Brian's coming on. We got a big Canes game coming up this Saturday, 3:30 from Hard Rock Stadium. Miami Hurricanes taking on Jimbo Fisher and his weird eyes. I don't know what the hell was he talking about?
He's just
yesterday?
crazy.
He's a crazy person.
He's crazy.
He's a crazy person.
You know what? That's what happens when you have too many people listening to you all the time.
We'll get Brian on here. Let's go out to the Toad of Hollywood guest line. Shop 100 Toyotas indoors in one of America's largest showrooms, the Toad of Hollywood on 441 between Hollywood and Sheridan. You can hear Brian every single pregame here on WQAM with Danny Rabinowitz. So they got their hours. What time do you guys get going, Brian? What do you get going? What does Len make you come in at? Like 10:30 for a 3:30 kickoff? What is the start?
4 hours before. So 11:30 is the start. Yeah. But now, you know, we used to be able to sneak in before everybody else and get the good parking spot, but now they opened up an hour before us. So everyone's already there, tailgating. Try to grab a drink before I get the set, but, you know, as long as Len doesn't know, we're good.
That's cool. So you guys are on location. You get to be at the stadium for. That's cool.
Yeah.
Very nice. Very nice. Have you heard Jimbo Fisher describing the importance of eyes?
What?
Yeah, here's listen
to this.
This is what the Canes are going up against this week. This is Jimbo Fisher describing the importance of seeing.
See a little, see a lot, see a lot, see nothing.
I don't know. I don't know what that means.
Hey, listen, your brain gonna hurt trying to figure out what it means.
See a little, see a lot, see nothing.
See a little. That doesn't make any sense.
But I actually knew. I knew what he was trying to say.
Yeah, I figured you knew exactly what football terms he was trying to say. But
from a quarterback perspective, if you trying to see everything, then you ain't gonna see what you need to see. You need to be looking where, you know, your eyes need to be focused on what's going on and what you need to pay attention to. But
I thought he was talking more like the boosters and his wife and stuff like that back in Florida State.
No.
Just turn a blind eye, and you'll see a lot. You'll see
a little, see a lot, see nothing.
So Brian, real quick, was that the most disciplined, the most energetic, guys all over the place, mistake-free football you've seen them play in a long time?
A long time.
And that's even after the game. I didn't even care what the score was. I said they're better because
you know what? It's
how
funny.
they play.
It's funny. They asked us, like, you know, what are you looking for in the game, in the pregame show? What's your key? And I was like, honestly, I don't want to see a lot. And it sounds dumb because it's almost like the same basic football. I want to see you run the ball. I want to see you establish a line of scrimmage. I want to see you have less penalties. And on defense, I want to see you guys tackle because we've been one of the worst tackling teams the last couple of years. And I want to see guys flying around to the football and gang tackling and having fun. And it sounds so dumb to say that, but that's how you see the steps with this team when it comes to discipline, when it comes to tackling, when it comes to actually flying around. Because the last couple of years, you could put on a different team in the G5 or a smaller division team, and they're flying around hitting buddy. And I feel like we haven't done that in years on defense.
Right. I think it's one of those things where you assume that you're better than you are, so you don't think you have to take those necessary steps to beat the other team. And I guess, you know, coaches just strip that all away and say, no, I don't care how good you are. This is how we play.
Yeah,
and it looks better because the talent's better.
The first conversation I had with Coach Gidger, then the defensive coordinator, I told him, I said, listen, man, I don't really like you, bro. And he looked at me like, what? And I go, you know, I'm watching Notre Dame versus Marshall last year. And I'm watching Marshall on defense put it on Notre Dame. Here I am as a Cane, pissed off that Marshall is flying around on defense and looking how we should look, and we don't fly around and hit somebody. And he looks at me and goes, it's all right. If they don't fly around, they won't play for me. I said, okay, coach, we good. We good.
Right. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. It's step one, right?
Step one.
It's easier. When everybody plays that way, it's easier to evaluate your talent. Yeah. It's hard when nobody's trying.
Do you think this is an easier situation, Brian, going into kind of a year with low expectations? Because I felt like the expectations were just high because of all the money getting spilt last year and coordinators of the year coming on in, and TVD is going to be a first-round pick. And it just felt like it was going to be plug and play and kind of be off to the races. And now it almost feels like the rebuild or the start of the program actually kind of gets to start this year. And I almost feel like it's a better way to kind of go about things if this thing is going to have maintained success.
Well, I don't think they have low expectations, only because when you bring in Coach Cristobal and then the contract that he does, he's always going to have high expectations, and everyone around him is going to have high expectations. And as Miami Hurricanes, we always have high expectations. Now, you might be realistic when you look at certain rosters and say, okay, we're not there yet. But I mean, I don't think this team's, realistic. It's like, oh, yeah, let's just get to 500 and we'll be good. This is a good year. Like, I don't think that would be a good year in Coach Cristobal's eyes. I think he wants to show that he has improvement on the roster, show that they, actually can have an adequate offense on what they had last year, to be able to recruit the big talent. Because if you're not winning, let's just call it what it is. Recruiting is about winning. You could talk about NIL and everything else. Most of the top teams are right aligned in the NIL as far as money that they're giving people on the side and stuff like that. But kids want to know that, one, they can win, and two, that you can get them to the NFL, and you got to be in an offense or a defense that suits them. So I think regardless, they're going to have to get 8-9 wins this year to consider it hey, this is a step in the right direction. This is a decent year, and this shows that we can build off of this. And if we bring in the right guys, the next person can help us to get to that 10, 11 wins.
Do you look at the ACC and see the way some of these teams have played and think that Miami may do a little bit better than that?
As far as, I watched a couple teams, and I still think that, right now, I think the cream of the crop of the ACC is Florida State and North Carolina. Then I think it's just a big logjam, right? Obviously, I haven't watched Pitt, Louisville, and seen what they have done this year. I watched Clemson. You're still a talented team, even though they don't look like the Clemson of the old. So I think there's a little bit of a logjam right behind there at 3 and 4 or 5, where Miami's right there. And obviously, we haven't seen Miami go against a very talented team like at Texas A&M yet. So you really can't tell if this offense can take that next step than we saw from last year, because we were very, very vanilla in game 1, which we should be. Now, can we get some explosive down the field plays? Can our receivers step up big, make one-on-one matchups against talented corners that they have? Can we establish a run game against 5-star, 4-star fronts that they have, big, strong, athletic dudes? And then if we come out of this game with a nice dominant win, then you can say, okay, they can see themselves against the Florida States and North Carolinas of the world. But if you have a game like you did last year, then you're right back in the middle of the ACC.
Is there do you think that there is something to the idea? Like, it does feel like it's been a while since you have a national televised showcase game and the Canes can show out on that stage. Do you feel like that this could be a big building block in confidence for the program of just taking out an SEC team, still ranked? They got the best of you last year, even though maybe it was there for you to have a chance to win last year, so you can kind of right that wrong and get things going in the right direction. What do you think the significance of winning this week would be for the season?
Well, I think this is huge, right? Because you have a lot of young guys contributing as well for this team. It gives you confidence to say that we can compete at the highest level. But also as a program, now you get to beat a ranked SEC team, which the other ACC teams did this week. And now this is huge for recruiting, because you look at the recruits that they're going to have coming into the building on Saturday, some big-time 5-star defensive linemen, receivers that are coming in that want to see that, okay, if I stay at home, can I compete with the teams in the SEC that I'm getting recruited by? Can they win? Can I go to the national championship and be in the Final Four? Can they put me into the NFL consistently like some of these other programs? I think just from the recruiting aspect and showing and proving, whether that's people that are going to be in the portal, whether it's going to be high school kids, that you can come to Miami, you can be great, and you can compete with the best of the best. And that's going to take that huge step for this team and that confidence when it comes to playing the Florida State and the Clemson down the road.
Was there anybody particularly, the running game was so impressive this past week, but who were your standout guys? What really jumped out week 1? You're like, man, I think this guy's going to help carry us this season.
Well, I like the whole offensive line play, right? I think Matt Lee is going to be that linchpin for that offensive line that we're missing, that vocal guy that's really going to help the young kids to the right of him, right? Because you have Inez Cooper and Francis Mauigoa, who are very talented, big body guys, but they're going to need help, right? Because they're younger guys, and you have a veteran center. And I think that's going to be the key as far as the offense. I mean, when it comes to standing out, you got to look at a Kobe Young who's, transformed his body. He looks like a complete different player. Instead of like a big red zone guy, he looks like he can stretch the field, win 50-50 balls. I love Mark Fletcher. When I saw him in practice in street clothes, I was like, yo, what is that? That's a running back? We got a running back that looks like that as a freshman? So, it gives you hope. But honestly, I was very surprised with Henry Parrish Jr. because I thought he was going to get jumped by an A.J. Allen and a Mark Fletcher. but the speed that he looked like he developed in the offseason, and I think the competition from the younger guys kind of pushed him to have that extra burst. And to me, he looked like a different running back this game. But those are some of the guys that stepped out to me on offense. But, on defense, I think we have some guys that are going to step up huge, especially the young guys in Ruben Bain. I think he's going to be a freshman All-American. But you got to go with 51. Kiko Mauigo. I think he's going to be, the captain of that defense. Something that we've been missing the last couple of years. We were one of the worst tackling teams in America. Our linebackers are about 5'10", 5'11", getting run over, getting run around. You now have a real linebacker, 6'3", 230, makes the calls, helping everybody out. We already got the field general in the back and Cam Kitchens, who is the All-American for a reason, but we needed that second level guy to really solidify that defense.
Yeah, Maui Go has Leroy. Coach talked about this week.
What?
NFTF, dude. Nose for the football. Nose for the football, dude. He's got it.
See what I got to deal with?
He's got it, dude.
Yeah, you got to deal with it every day.
Every day.
Who did you enjoy losing more this weekend, Brian? Dabo or Brian Kelly?
Oh, Dabo. Oh, Dabo all day. Brian Kelly, it doesn't bother me with Brian Kelly because we really haven't dealt with him much. Obviously a couple Notre Dame stuff, but Dabo just shut up. Some of the stuff he said over the years, you kind of just, what? Let me not say that now because I'm going to get myself in trouble. But it was great to see Dabo just get, dominated, right? By a team known as a basketball school, even though I think they're going to be better than most people think. It's just that some of the things that he says, like, first of all, didn't he say he was going to retire if players are going to get paid? Well, haven't seen that yet.
Still here.
Didn't he say he wasn't going to use a transfer portal? We'll see how you do this year on this offseason if you're going to use that transfer portal or not.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you. Because Brian Kelly, it's just like, I think he's just cringe with his faking the accent and whatnot. Yeah. But man, Dabo, I love seeing him lose. It was so great.
What's Brian Kelly? He threw up the L for the loser in the one video.
Oh man,
Dabo, it's just enjoyable to see Dabo for as much, stuff that he's talked over the years and all the cringe things that he said and trying to give backhanded compliments to teams and coaches and stuff like that. It's kind of to see him take it, a little bit of his own medicine.
This past week with Tyler, we know that he's coming in there with the hand thing. I don't know how much it was affecting him. I know it was also, the monsoon was kind of in and out, so I don't know what to kind of make of his game. But were you impressed? Are you still a little concerned with some of the things that he may be dealing with? What did you think of TBD and I guess where what this season he can jump off from?
Can I say wait and see?
Sure.
In all honesty, it kind of I was a little surprised in some of the throws. It looked like they kind of floated, and it didn't look like it had a ton of velocity. But I do know there was a ton of rain, and it wasn't ideal football as far as passing game. Even though shout out to receivers, no drop balls. Shocked at that. But the forecast this weekend kind of looks like there might be rain again on Saturday. So they got to get used to it and they got to get ready for it. But for Tyler, the main thing I wanted to see is how would the offensive line hold up? Because Tyler's the type of guy, if you get him in rhythm and he's comfortable, he can go for 350, 400 yards, right? So to see that they didn't give up one sack for Tyler, even though it's a Miami of Ohio team, in the past we were giving up a ton of sacks to teams like that, and it just didn't look good. And I think Miami of Ohio led the MAC in sacks last year. So it's not like they don't have talent on the defensive front. Now, this is a different beast coming in with Texas A&M, but I think with the offensive line keeping him clean, it's going to get Tyler comfortable, and he's going to be comfortable that he can trust his receivers on the outside to make plays.
Before we get you out of here, what did you think of the Dion show this week? The Coach Prime Colorado hype. Do you think this is overhyped? Do you think this is going to be one of the best things in college football this year? What did you think of Colorado's performance and all the madness that kind of came with it?
It's Prime, right? This is one of the cockiest, most arrogant dudes ever to play the game. So what do you expect from him as a coach? Is going to be him. It's not going to change him. So I expected it for him, and I think it's a great thing for him and what he's been doing as far as the HBCU and then going to the next level, being a Black coach and doing it for bringing Black coaches with him and stuff like that. And I think that's awesome. As far as Colorado, right, I think they got the perfect first week ranked opponent because there's always that overranked teams, overhyped teams in the preseason, year in and year out. Let's look back at TCU. They had one of the worst defensive last year when they made it to the Final Four, right? But they had a great offense that I think scored 39 points, 37 points. You lost your quarterback, you lost your 2 wide receivers, you lost your running back. Then on defense, you still weren't great again this year. Now, Colorado, you gave up 500 yards of offense. Okay. Your quarterback set your school record with a 500 in passing yards. Is he going to do that every week? No. Is Travis, going to be able to play 100 and something yards every week? No. Is a running back going to score 4 touchdowns? No. So for me, I think it's a great story, and I think it was a great first game for them. But again, we know what college football is all about. You got to stay healthy because not everybody has elite depth. They don't have elite depth yet because it's a brand new program.
Too. They're tiny all over.
So if you lose a couple of those guys, then I think that's where you're going to see them have some issues at the midseason and stuff like that. And let's see if Travis can stay, Hunter can stay healthy. But I mean, you still got to play the USCs of the world, the Oregons of the world. Those are the teams that really want to see.
They look like Oregon, don't they? They look like an old Oregon team. Small, run all over the place.
They do.
You're not going to run right at you because they're not big enough, but they all over the place. Hurry up, run a play every 5 seconds.
But I thought it was, listen, I thought it was a fun offense they ran, bringing the head coach over from Kent State. I was excited about it, but it's that week one overhyped, overanalyze that everyone does, whether it's good or bad.
So you saying this was more about TCU and not Colorado?
Yeah, because if you look at it, TCU had 2 red zone interceptions. They had a missed field goal. And then also, if you literally just put those 2 field goals in, just get 3 points from one of those red zones and 3 points from that field goal, the game's over. Literally, the game's over. It's not even, then we're not even talking about a great story. We're talking about, oh my God, they look so good. They're going to get them next time. Give them a year and they'll get them. But you know what? The ball bounced their way, so they get the story. It's all good.
That's Brian Monroe. Coming up at 11:30 is our Canes pregame coming up for a 3:30 kickoff from Hard Rock Stadium. Go see him.
3:30.
Benowitz.
Oh yeah. You got time.
Yeah, man.
He got time.
You got time to get saucy.
Appreciate the time, Brian. Thanks so much, man.
Thanks, man.
You guys take it easy. Have a good rest of your show.